daughter, Catherine Coyd. I'm Dan Harris. I'm speaking for my stepdaughter, Catherine Coyd. I'm going to refer to her as Kate. This is her picture here. Kate was involved in a car accident. A lady came across the yellow line and hit her head on. Kate is also a dwarf. She was 37 inches tall. And she recently graduated from getting her AA degree from Valencia College. Kate was taken to Arnold Palmer Hospital first, the ER room there, and then transferred to ORMC from there. While she was at the emergency room, they did a CT scan, and her specialists were from the Morris Hospital in Wilmington, Delaware. Her spinal dysplasia surgeon, Dr. McKenzie, wanted him to see the CT scans, and what the ORMC did was they moved her to the 8th floor from the emergency room, and at that time they made her a Jane Doe and gave her a name of Kingstree. So that messed up any communication between Dr. McKenzie and ORMC. We didn't even know it. The family did not know that they changed her name to Kingstree, and there was no reason for that. So the CT scan showed a partial break in her spine, but she had no paralysis. She still had feeling in all extremities. The respiratory care there was very negligent. They didn't have any trach supplies. They didn't have a backup trach for her, an emergency trach. And the trach that the catheter they were trying to use was the wrong size. It was too big to go through her trach, so they couldn't even suction her if she needed it. So Kate was coherent and everything, talking to us. She was worried about college and everything. So when she was up there in the 8th floor, they wouldn't give her any fluids or food or anything. They were supposed to schedule a surgery the first night, but we couldn't get the consultation with her Dr. McKenzie to give advice, because he was the only one that really done any surgeries on her, and he knew her better than anybody in the world. So from there, she was kind of going downhill a little bit, and then they were talking of giving her fentanyl, and I'm not sure whether they did or not. We haven't got the medical records yet. We're in progress of doing that, and the toxicology report as well. So they had a doctor come in, pulmonologist. It took 45 minutes to get a pulmonologist there because there's oxygen samples going down. So they were bagging her for over 2 hours before the pulmonologist got in there to change her trach. And then when they changed it, they had the wrong size trach. And they had a doctor come in to scope her lungs to make sure her lungs are clear. And he's the one that said that that was the wrong size trach, that the trach was up against the back of her throat, so she couldn't get any air in or out. Only way they could do it is by bagging her. So she was in respiratory distress, leading to cardiac distress. The cardiologist came in and said to me, I need you to go down to the waiting room. We're going to put an ice sheet on her because her temp is up, and put an arterial line in. So he walked me down to the waiting room. Once you're in the waiting room, you can't get back into ICU unless they let you in. 10 minutes later, he comes back to get me and says, they're doing CPR on her. Do you want a DNR? And I said, I have to see her first. I was a former EMT as well, and got down to the room, and they're doing chest compressions, and I see on the monitor that she has a heartbeat. You never do chest compressions on a patient that has a heartbeat because you throw them into defib. So one thing led to another, and she passed away that night. That doctor made the announcement that did the scoping, said to everybody in the room, and he come out and told me as well, that that was the wrong size trach, they never changed it. So here we are today with Kate gone. She was accepted at UCF. She was supposed to be going to UCF at this point. And that's it.